So are we just, oh, there it is. I see the live button now.
So, Cynthia, would you like to
Oh,
tell
sure.
the night before story again?
Sure. Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house, Katie and Yumi were talking about Vivaldi. Now that we really
Yes.
are live.
And yes, now I see all of our smiling faces. So, Yumi, that beautiful story, it was so amazing, and I want to hear it just one more time for all the folks out there.
So I was saying that I have no real recollection of my very first Christmas gig. Of course, when I was younger in school, we always had Christmas concerts. So it's always been part of my, growing up. But as far as professional Christmas concert, I can't isolate a single one, but I do remember a particular time in my life when I was doing more freelance work. And I was a member of the Concerto Soloist Chamber Orchestra of Philadelphia. And that group would play the Messiah for the Philadelphia Singers, which is a fabulous professional singing group that was founded by Michael Korn. Mm-hmm. And his Messiahs were complete, no cuts, and I believe all the repeats too. So on this on this particular day, somehow we ended up with a triple service day. Mm. So by the time we got to the concert of the Messiah, and I was probably only about 19 or 20 years old at the time, I didn't quite have, the endurance factor there. I was still a student at Curtis. But I think my arm was going to fall off. And it was such a trial to get through that Messiah, even though it was incredible. I just remember thinking I never want to do a triple again.
Yeah, I don't blame you. That's such a such a big to take on that whole thing.
Yeah,
it's a bear when you do the whole thing with no cuts.
Yes, but his musicianship and his tempi were always so spirited and jaunty. It never felt like it took 4 hours, I mean, it was pared down to probably like 3 1/4 at most. It was amazing.
Nice.
That in the hands of an amazing conductor can really be a lifetime experience.
Yes.
I remember seeing the Messiah at the Colorado Symphony with Bernard Labadie conducting, and my parents were there with me, and that's probably the most memorable Messiah experience we've ever had, just watching Bernard Labadie.
I can't, I'm so happy you mentioned that, because I have had that performance in my mind of late, and was hoping that we may actually play that recording as part of our holiday program. And I'm not sure that it's going to happen, but it's been on my mind. And that you mentioning it is so special to me, because I too found that to be really probably a absolute highlight, working with him and those fabulous singers who he auditioned. He was so meticulous. It was wonderful.
The way that he worked the chorus in that performance it brought things out of this piece that I don't think have ever been heard before. So that's what made it so special. I mean, that's one of the things.
Yeah.
As Cynthia, can you tell us about maybe your first professional holiday gig? Do you remember?
Well, I remember the first one I was taken to when I was 4 years old. It was the Nutcracker. But then, on the violin, I was a freelancer and in school and everything. So I don't remember the first one as a violinist. I just remember it always involved singers and stuff like that. But as a conductor, I remember I had just gotten a job in Greensboro, North Carolina, and suddenly I went from like 0 to 4 concerts in in 1 week. And with the youth orchestra, which would have a sing along with choir, so it was kind of like a pops concert, and a pops concert with the Greensboro Symphony, which is in an ice arena, right, where the hockey team played.
Oh my goodness.
And I remember my feet would like freeze. but but we would have a competition with Winston-Salem Symphony, because Winston-Salem is only 30 minutes from Greensboro, and there would be a food drive associated with both these holiday concerts, and we would compete for who could get the most food. So that was really fun. But the most fun, I think, and that week where I went from 0 conducting holiday concerts to 4, was that I conducted the Nutcracker. And that was so wonderful because, when I was 4 years old, that was the piece that got me hooked on music. And then, in my first real professional holiday concert, it was the Nutcracker. And
Oh,
so
wow.
I enjoyed that very, very much.
I am really going to miss singing the Nutcracker this year. I had this realization last week that I would have been in rehearsals last week for Nutcracker, so it was kind of bittersweet. But I'm glad that the Colorado Ballet broadcast it on PBS, so we still get to experience it. But I want to talk a little bit about our holiday concert and a little bit about Vivaldi, just because, I mean, man, he is just one of the most influential composers. He inspired Bach, and we see the telltale signs of Vivaldi's influence in a lot of Bach's pieces. And his music is so challenging and virtuosic, and I still can't get my voice wrapped around some of the crazy coloratura that he writes. So the Four Seasons is such a beloved piece, and we're going to hear it in this holiday concert next weekend, December 5th and 6th. Yes?
Yeah.
And it's one of the most performed works in the repertoire. So Yumi, how do you approach a new performance of the Four Seasons so that you're engaging with it in a new way after so many repetitions over the years?
Well, the very first time that I really delved into the piece as my own was early on in my career with the Colorado Symphony. Of course, I had played it many times inside of an ensemble of various sizes and iterations. But it was the first time that I was actually doing the whole 4-movement concerti and doing all of the seasons at once. And it was quite an undertaking. I have to say, I spent a tremendous amount of time studying it and trying to make it my own. Then I think with any piece that you spend a lot of time with and then time passes, it just somehow just ferments and evolves with your own playing in general and your all those other experiences you have since then. And every time you come back to it, you're a different player, you're a different person, your life is completely different than you last played it. So it never feels staid or old or like, oh, here I go again. I mean, you would never, as a violinist, think, oh my gosh, I have to play the Four Seasons again. No, it's such a fun and exciting work to play, and to have an opportunity where you get to be a soloist too on top of it. It's just a joy. So I don't think that we would ever really feel like, I don't really want to do this. I mean, you're always just incredibly excited to have another go at a piece that is so popular and well known and in the repertoire.
Nice. Well, Cynthia, what keeps it fresh for you?
well, first of all, we should say that on our concert, we're doing autumn and winter because the COVID concerts are just shorter. But
Yes.
yeah, I mean, these works are beloved for a reason,
Mhm.
and they have something to them that are always beloved. But they also grow with you as as you live with them, and as you live with them under different settings and different circumstances, and and everything. So basically, the Vivaldi is just so interactive. you know, that the soloist, you always, as a conductor, you always come in with your own ideas, but the soloist is the one who's depicting all these different things. And so the joy of the Vivaldi for me is this interactive aspect. I mean, I've done the piece a lot with different soloists, and it's, it can be faster, it can be slower, it can, what, but it's like, how does this soloist do it? And what are we depicting here, and how can we enhance that, and how do we answer that? So it's that interactive bit is the joy for me. I have to
Yeah,
say,
it's a new experience every single time.
yeah,
Different players, different circumstances. And certainly for us, we had to wear masks and be
yeah,
6 feet apart. I mean, talk about a new experience, right?
that was definitely a new experience. I also have the experience, because I'm a violinist, of playing winter down in Haiti. I've been teaching in Haiti for 15 years, and playing winter, that's hard enough. But I think what might have been harder was trying to explain winter to Haitians. But yes, the doing it under the COVID circumstances with the masks and the distancing was definitely added a level of excitement, as everybody really had to be on it because we're so far away, and that
Yeah,
made the interactive part even
that'll keep it fresh, all right. But
more.
I think it must be a joy. It's always a joy for me to sing under a conductor who's a singer. So it must be a joy for a violinist to play with a conductor who's a violinist. I'm assuming that. But I
Yes, no, I think you're right. I mean, when you have a conductor who has the same primary instrument, and especially the violin with all its quirks, yeah, you definitely do feel a certain level of simpatico,
yes.
and hopefully some empathy. But
Lots.
yes, thank you, Cynthia. I always feel that, and it's always a pleasure working with you. Um, but I would think that sometimes, though, you could run into a situation where the conductor slash violinist has such, strong feelings about how a piece should go, that perhaps it could be actually a deterrent, sort of a kind of a war, can be. But
Yeah.
I haven't experienced that.
Yay, yay. No, when whether it's my instrument or not, I kind of approach these things like the ballet or like the opera, where it's really back and forth,
Yeah.
and the part of it that's simpatico with me being a violinist is that I just love that music so much, and I have a better sense of what's coming next than I do of probably any other music. And then the technical things, like, I know that large leaps and things like that just
Sure.
might take a little. That's where the empathy comes in. That and everything. But yeah. If you make an opera out of everything, it doesn't matter whether I've sung it before. It's how it's
That's
coming
such a
together is
beautiful
fun.
way of putting that. That's such a beautiful way of putting that, Cynthia. Thank you. I'm gonna take that with me, and I don't know, that's one of those little nuggets of wisdom that I'm gonna take with me and carry it into my own music work. So thank you. So I have a final fun question as we wrap up. I want to hear about some holiday traditions just for fun. So do you all have any holiday traditions? Anything that you're looking forward to this year that you want to share?
Well, for us, holiday traditions changed greatly when we had a daughter.
Yes.
And Ava's 9 now, but one of the things that we always do is a friend of ours from London sends us those Jackie Lawson Advent calendar
Yeah.
Christmas thing. So it's always a big deal loading it up and getting it working, and then, waiting each day to click on the correct day and really use all the games. And it's just been so fun because especially when she was only, I don't know, like 3, she'd already figured out everything. So she could, it was such an exciting thing for her. And she still loves to do that. Otherwise, no, I mean, we actually bought our Christmas tree day before Thanksgiving this year just because we couldn't wait. And we are going to start decorating probably this weekend.
Great. Sounds lovely. What about you, Cynthia?
That's we don't have children in the house, but we still do the Jackie Lawson Advent calendars because
those are so wonderful.
They're wonderful, and what she does with the music and everything like that is really good. Usually we're a bit curmudgeon-y and put off the Christmas decorations until later, but this seemed to be a really good year to kind of get that rolling early. And the other thing though is that our blended families have been in a tradition of either traveling to someone's house or like, getting an Airbnb like in Santa Fe or something, and everybody converges, on Santa Fe and kind of having our family togetherness despite the nuclear, family kind of separation thing. And so that's not something that we're going to have this year because of the pandemic. So, but we've been doing a lot via Zoom, and I think that when we can gather again, it'll just be that much sweeter. I mean, ditto music, right? I mean, we just did it, and I think the music that we just did under the COVID circumstances is really sweet and wonderful. But I just know it's going to be even more wonderful when we're closer and we're communicating.
And I must say there's a little bit of a silver lining, I think, this year with musicians, and especially church musicians like myself. And that is that because we can't really do our usual circuit of gigs, it means that we get to spend more time home doing things that we love that we would often miss out on because we were at a gig. So I'm looking forward to having a more relaxed holiday season without spending a straight 24 hours at church.
Silver linings.
Yeah, silver linings. There are blessings in this season, even along with the difficulties. And
all the
one of
musicians
those
all the musicians and performers actually get to enjoy the holidays.
right. That's it. And one of the blessings has been being able to talk to the two of you tonight. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat a little bit. And it's so nice to see you, Yumi.
Nice to meet you too.
So good to talk to you, Cynthia. And thanks so much for doing this. And I can't wait to see your concert this weekend. So it's December 5th and 6th. It's live streamed. It's accessible through the ProMusica website, promusicacolorado.org. And the Saturday, the 5th performance is at 7:30 and the Sunday performance is at 3 p.m. So I'm really looking forward. I think I might have to even watch it both times.
Once you get a ticket, you have 48-hour access. That's the way that works. And then the subscribers have it on demand for 2 weeks. So that's
it's a whole new world, but I think it's really, really a good thing for music because we can extend our reach to so many other people now who may not have been able to come to our concert venues in the past. So really looking forward to it. And thank you both again. And I hope you have a wonderful holidays.
You
You too,
too.
Katie. And Yumi,
Bye.
thank you so much. It's such a joy to work with you.
My pleasure. And thank you so much, Cynthia and Katie, to organize all this and to have had a chance to videotape in time before everything shut down. It was a brilliant stroke for you to move that time up. And we have it now. So hopefully people will enjoy it.
Yay, yay. Oh, thank you very much.